GMGP, good morning, good people. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all decided to wake up with us. You're sick. You're sick in the head. There's a lot of fantasy football shows out there, but I promise y'all, they not like us. Brock Bowers, you looked a little quicker than fast. What does that even mean? Redraft, Dynasty, best ball, high stakes, we got you covered. And that's MVS and Justin Watson with some of the dopest tools designed to help you cancel out the noise and dominate your leagues. If there's a white wide receiver named Antoine, sign me up. Maybe it's cultural. I don't know. In season or off season, rain, sleet, hail, and snow, comma, semicolon, period, next sentence, to bring you the most actionable and entertaining content on YouTube. You don't go buy the dip on the Titanic.
Quarterback that you love, D-Bro. One of the best values in fantasy football.
Prop bets with my man JRich.
Yes! Let's go!
So wipe the crust out of your eye, get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake y'all asses up with Ray
and Jay
in the morning.
My God.
How good is
Dude.
he? How good is he? Let's get it. GMGP. It is Wednesday, November 6th, 2024. Y'all decided to wake y'all asses up with me and my co-host, my brother from another mother, Jordan Richards. JRich, we appreciate each and every eye, each and every ear being in the damn building. And I see some of y'all got up. Some of y'all got up. You got to wake that ass up. Come on. I see you, Marcus. What's happening? Kelly Poole, what's good with you? Shane, Joe, Corroy, TDE, Adam, Tim, MV Prop, Byron. We got Kelly in the building. Spartan 117. I saw my dog Jimbo up in here earlier. Cash me out. Gump. Shout out to my dog Gump, man. Hey, if y'all ain't following Gump, make sure you follow Gump on X. My dog is out here putting out plays for the community, for the core, for DD. He is awesome. Dope. Winning people a lot of money. And shout out to Missouri, JRich. They sports gambling in Missouri, man. Let's go. Another state getting legalized sports betting. I wish it were Texas, but that is not the case. We've got a lot to talk about because yesterday was a big day, like the biggest day. NFL trade deadline. And no matter how sad you are about the results of the election, you should not be as sad as Dallas Cowboys fans because your team did not give up a fourth-round pick for Jonathan Mingo, which we will discuss.
Spoilers.
But yes, we did have the presidential election yesterday. You know, we don't talk politics on the show, but we don't stray away from anything. Congratulations to Donald Trump. He won the presidency fair and square. We're not going to get into all of that stuff, but that's a big monumental thing. We're here. We're in America, except for JRich. He is not here, and he won fair and square last night. So we will acknowledge that. Give the credit to the due process and the people that went out there and voted, and I hope everybody did do that. But we're not going to talk about that. I'm sure for the next couple of months and years, we'll talk all about who's doing what and this and that. We just want to talk football, though. We want to talk football, acknowledge what happened yesterday, and the 47th president of the United States was elected. So there it is, GMGP to you, and we will talk NFL news and notes. And JRich, I got something for your ass today. We're going to put you in the hot seat today. How you doing this morning, baby?
I'm good. I'm glad that you gave a quick shout out and said GMGP to Trump, assuming that he watches the Wake Up Show. So credit to you, sir. You never know. Why not?
You never know. You never know. It was a long night. It was a long night for a lot of people. So they may just be waking up and want some damn entertainment, and we got them covered right here, Jack.
Yeah, I'm doing well, though. It was a fun day yesterday. It was a lackluster trade deadline, which... man, I don't know if I would even say that with how bad the trade deadline is in the NFL half the time. We did get one big move, though. I had some fun. I thought the deadline was fine, man. I thought for a sport in which people say there's never trades in football, I thought the trade deadline was fine. There were some teams that made some good moves. I thought the Steelers, we'll talk about the Steelers did a really good job to improve their team, getting Preston Smith for a freaking 7th-round pick. Z. Smith going to the Lions. We know they needed pass rush help with Aiden Hutchinson out. And we'll talk about some moves that, you know, we're at this point now. It's week 10, man. Like it's already over. The fantasy playoffs is in 4 weeks. So if your trade deadline is not passed, it is chips in, go make a move, try to win it, take it home. And that's what we're going to talk about on the show, man. Some players. I want to put you to the test. Would you go out there and sell some of your young assets for some of these players that might help you take home a fantasy championship here in 2024? But we do have some news and some notes that we've got to go through. So JRich, let's get right into it. Straight facts. Let's go.
The biggest news.
in the world of sports. Covered and brought to you by one man, Jordan Richards. This is Straight Facts.
Yes, so we do have some moves that happened yesterday and a couple of quick practice reports. No real surprise for a lot of people. T. Higgins not practicing, not expected to practice today, and not expected to play on Thursday. But one of the more surprising ones, depending on how close you've been paying attention, especially with everything that's been going on, is Isaiah Likely didn't practice yesterday and hasn't practiced all week. So he's not expected to play on Thursday. Now, there was a lot of reports about Lamar Jackson not practicing, but John Harbaugh put that to bed very, very quickly, saying he's going to play on Thursday. He's just probably not going to practice much going forward for the rest of the season. So don't be worried about Lamar, but if you do have some Likely, you're going to probably want to make other arrangements because I doubt that he does play on Thursday, at least as it stands right now. Now, in terms of the trade deadline, we did have a few moves made. One of the more impactful ones potentially for fantasy was Khalil Herbert getting traded to the Cincinnati Bengals. We heard that Zach Moss will be out indefinitely. It was also reported he's going to be out for at least the regular season. So they went and got Khalil Herbert, who was available from the Bears, another running back to add to that backfield to work in tandem with Chase Brown, and could actually see some snaps at some point during the season. Great runner of the football, decent in pass protection and catching the football as well. So a good compliment to Chase Brown, who could do a bit of everything. The Steelers traded for the Jets wide receiver Mike Williams. I don't really think it means much for fantasy, but it's good for Russell Wilson. Another piece for him. I don't think it impacts George Pickens, only bolsters that passing game and makes them a more formidable threat in the postseason. One of the biggest trades, and probably the biggest trade, was the Commanders trading for Saints All-Pro corner Marshawn Lattimore. So unfortunately for us, Ray, it's the end of an era.
I know.
The end of the Mike Evans versus Lattimore era. It's all over, and I've never been more upset. And what's crazier about it is that they actually played this season because they played week 1. So we could have had it, but unfortunately he was traded later in the year, so we probably won't see it for a couple of years. But it's a massive upgrade to a team that already has a great offense but needed to upgrade on defense. Lattimore should make an instant impact for the Commanders. And you know everyone's waiting for it, Ray. They need your thoughts on the Dallas Cowboys trading for wide receiver Jonathan Mingo, even though their starting quarterback Dak Prescott is headed for IR per Jerry Jones. So how did you feel about the deadline, and how do you feel about Mingo? I was reading a report this morning from ESPN's Benjamin Solak talking about how it does seem bad. It is definitely more than you should have paid, but when you break it down from a cost perspective,
there's no but.
It could work out okay.
No, there's no but. There's no but. There's no it could, it should. Giving up a 4th-round pick for this one, and it's not even that the 4th that they're going to go out and draft the next CeeDee Lamb, the next Dak Prescott, but just look at what 4th and 5th and 6th and 7th round picks have been traded for, and the players that have been acquired for those picks. DeAndre Hopkins, Preston Smith. It's money that you can use and you can play with down the line if you needed a spot start from a running back, Jay, if you needed a spot start, a pass rusher, whatever it is, like to give that up for this player, it didn't make a lot of sense to me for the direction that Dallas is going. But you know what? My expectation levels, I have none for the Dallas Cowboys. I have said from the summertime that I thought this was a non-playoff team, that I thought everybody out there should load up and hammer the under 10.5 wins that Vegas had them projected for. I've said all along that I thought they'd be picking inside the top 10, and I wouldn't be shocked. And here we are. So them making dumbass moves, it does not surprise me at all. No, I don't think there's any long-term hope there. No, I don't believe it was a good trade. No, I don't think that this helps Dallas win. I don't get it. Don't understand it. But here we are with Jonathan Mingo in Dallas. Makes no sense. I thought that the Steelers, they did a good job getting Preston Smith for 7th. And I know we don't have a lot of fantasy expectation for Mike Williams, but adding another pass catcher on the outside for Russell Wilson to throw moonballs to, it's got to feel good for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Mike Williams, maybe he's a good blocker. They're going to run the ball a lot. I like what Pittsburgh did. Their defense was already number 2 in the league in scoring, allowing points. They don't give up anything. And then you add Preston Smith to be a situational, rotational D lineman, edge rusher. This is a great move by Pittsburgh. I thought the Commanders getting Marshawn Lattimore, no-brainer. And I think Khalil Herbert is going to play a role in Cincinnati to take a little pressure off of Chase Brown and Joe Burrow. So overall, I thought a lot of teams made moves to help them improve. And let's not forget that we did see Patrick Mahomes connect with DeAndre Hopkins, 8 for 86, 8 for 87, and 2 touchdowns. So It's another one of those moves that was made that we don't consider as a part of the trade deadline yesterday, but that is a move that you're going to look back and be like, damn, they got Nuke Hopkins for a comp pick, like a 5th-round comp pick. What a trade by the Kansas City Chiefs. I thought it was fine. I thought the trade deadline was more active than usual when we saw a lot of big names get moved around.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I think the Mike Williams one is probably the most interesting because, Russ is a player that for a couple of weeks now we've said, is he startable? Do you want to start him? You look at the Steelers, they're improving as an offense. And, as much as people don't even realize it half the time, this is Van Jefferson who's getting a lot of these snaps in this X role or Y role, whatever you want to call it, as the other wide receiver to George Pickens. And it could even allow George Pickens to play a little bit more inside as well as Mike just being that big outside threat. And like you talked about with even the blocking stuff, like, of course, he's like 6'4", 230. He can probably block just fine against a corner that's 6 feet tall. So I do really like it for Russ. I think it's a very interesting dynamic. I wasn't all the way in. I thought they could have used maybe a better intermediate route runner, but I think Mike could provide something to that offense that could allow George Pickens to maybe even be freed up more than he would otherwise, because he's not going to necessarily have to play outside all the time.
All right, JRich, I want to talk about some of the big name players because we're going into week 10. You got to push your chips in. There is no, let me wait and figure it out and see how this player works. In a couple of weeks, I'll make a move and see if I want to buy. No, it's like, it's go get it time right now. We're going into week 10. Fantasy playoffs are a month away. So when I'm thinking about making moves, making trades to win it, Jay, I'm thinking about going to get hammers, going to get players that are actually going to make a difference. Give a shit about trading for Jalen Tolbert. I don't really care about trading for Khalil Herbert. That doesn't feel like a league winner. You know who feels like a league winner? To me, JRich, you know who feels just if I just had to say this player feels like somebody who can win your league. It's not Khalil Herbert. It's not those guys. It's this guy. It's Derrick Henry, right?
The king.
That's what a league winner feels like, JRich. You know who else feels like a league winner this year? It's that guy, Saquon Barkley. He feels like a league winner. I'm just going out on a limb, Jay. And I know he's old, but this guy right here, Alvin Kamara, these feel like the type of players that can help you bring home fantasy championship here in 2024. Now, I thought about this as I was dropping the kiddo off at school. How do we want to take this conversation? Redraft or Dynasty? I think Dynasty is the way to go. I don't understand why the hell in redraft you would have Saquon Barkley and then trade him. Absent the I just don't, even if you're out of it, I just don't understand
what's the
why
logic,
that would happen in redraft. So I think Dynasty is the better approach to take it. And what I wanted to do today is I'm using Dynasty Daddy's trade database. You can go to dynastydaddy.com. I got a dope trade database. If you're just trying to figure out ideas, what can I trade this player for in my league, my 8-team, start 6, 2-point tight end premium league, you could go in and customize all the settings and then get a return of all the real trades that people on Sleeper that are paying money have made involving those players. And I pulled up a couple today because I want to have a real honest conversation about some of these big name superstars and what you would, should, or could do with them in Dynasty Fantasy Football, especially, if you're trying to make a move and get it. So let's start with the aforementioned Derrick Henry, JRich. I mean, he's been incredible this season, right? Leading the league in rushing, touchdowns are outstanding. The Baltimore Ravens offense, we know how good the Baltimore Ravens offense is. I'm going to go to keep trade cut. And the reason why I'm going to go to keep trade cut, because I just like to see where the consensus value, dynasty value for these players are. And as I'm looking for Derrick Henry, let's see where Derrick Henry is valued or ranked amongst the running backs. According to KTC right now, Derrick Henry, RB9 in Dynasty. All right, Jay? RB9.
That's pretty high for
I'm
Derrick Henry.
just going to tell you who's around him. He's immediately ahead of James Cook and Christian McCaffrey, who is down at RB11. And right ahead of Derrick Henry, got Jonathan Taylor and Kenneth Walker. So I'm going to present to you some options. And I want to hear from you and the people in the chat. Are you comfortable paying this cost for Derrick Henry to help you win your championship in Dynasty? Value, all of that stuff mixed into it. But let's go. So Derrick Henry right here, so you got to trade right here. It's a 2 QB league. So super flex, 12 teams, start 10, full PPR, half point premium. You have to give up your Justin Herbert. JRich, you are trading Justin Herbert, and in return, you're getting the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts, Joe Flacco, and one Derrick Henry. 2 QB And take this however you want. So if you want to, in your mind, if you want to say, well, if I'm trading away Herbert, then I must feel good at quarterback, or maybe not. But is this a move that you would make, people in Dynasty, to help you make your push for the championship now? Derrick Henry for Justin Herbert. It's Henry and Flacco for Herbert. JRich, where we at?
So this one is pretty tough because it's not just the fact that you look at it from a raw points perspective. The raw points clearly lean on the side of Flacco and Henry, and it really matters how your team is made up, because while Justin Herbert is a player that we all really liked, and early this season we thought, this could be a down year for Herbert, but he's also ascended a lot. I believe he's thrown for 265 yards in each of the last 3 games. He has 2 touchdowns in each of the last 3 games. He's been over 30 attempts in 3 of the last 4 after the bye. Like, he's really passing the ball more and more effectively week in and week out. And I think that's when you look to Herbert, you say, maybe Herbert's back. We're just not crediting him for that quite yet. But when you talk about winning your league and adding a player like Flacco and Derrick Henry, as long as your team can absorb a Herbert to Flacco move, I don't necessarily hate it. But you have to realize that going into next season, you are not without a second quarterback, assuming you only have 2, or your third is, someone just as bad as Flacco. And then once again, Derrick Henry leaves you with, well, is he still the Baltimore Ravens running back overall, and what does that give you? But when you look at the actual strength of schedule for the Colts, 27th in the NFL for quarterbacks. So it's not like it's going to get any easier for Flacco, especially coming off that Minnesota game. And even though Minnesota's defense is one of the best in the NFL, it's a tough pill to swallow. But I don't think trading Herbert is a move that you can't make, because his value is definitely up right now overall. But in a 2 QB, Herbert is a little bit more valuable than in a super flex.
Do we agree though? Do we agree that Derrick Henry is a league-winning running back? Do we agree there? There's no issue there.
Absolutely. Top running back in the league.
I'm seeing people say I'd rather keep Herbert for the long-term value. When we're going through this exercise, apply this to whatever league it is that's important to you. If it's a $10 league that you don't give a shit about, then whatever. But, and the way that we set this up, Jay, is I'm in a league right now where the payout was $5,000. I don't give a shit about Herbert's. I want that $5K in December. I want the $5,000. So take it however you want to take it. Let's go back to Derrick Henry, all right? Let's go back to Derrick Henry. So Herbert didn't make you feel good. Here's another one. Derrick Henry, this was 2 days ago. Superflex, 12-team start 10, PPR, half-point tight end premium. You get Derrick Henry, but you have to give up Jonathan Brooks, 2 third-round picks this year, and a second-round pick. So you're giving up Jonathan Brooks, who's going to play this week, a second and 2/3 to get Derrick Henry.
This is probably the easiest trade you'll ever make. When you're talking about league-winning moves and going all in to win, none other than trading a player who hasn't played all season, and we don't know if we expect anything from them, especially with the way that Chuba Hubbard's playing right now, and some draft picks for Derrick Henry. Would you love to keep that second and 2/3? I'm sure you would. But it's not going to help you win your league to have them sitting on your bench, accumulating value come the rookie draft. You need Derrick Henry to win your league, and this is an easy trade for me. Jonathan Brooks could be good, but at the same time, I don't even know what this team looks like when Jonathan Brooks is actually healthy either.
The chat is saying Henry smash, hands down, Derrick Henry, easy one. Not as easy with the Justin Herbert one. So we've got one more for Derrick Henry. Would you make this move? 2 QB, 12-team start 11, full PPR half-point premium. Derrick Henry, or not one, but 2 first-round picks, one in 2025, one in 2026, and a 2025 second. I'm going to assume that the team sending away these picks, they want the hammer, and they're going for it, damn it. Are you trading a 25 and 26 first plus a 25 second to get Derrick Henry to win your league?
I personally couldn't do it. I would be looking to the Breece Halls if you like Breece Hall, the Bijan Robinson if you like Bijan Robinson, and especially Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor as players I'd be looking at, to players I would go after before I would get Derrick Henry. I think you need to at least consider looking at other options to make sure Henry isn't your only one. If you really think that that's a move that can win you your league, I have no problem making it.
There's no if.
I have no problem making it.
Yeah. And is the bet here from the manager that's moving the first that I'm going to win? This is going to be the 112, the 212. I don't care about it. I want Derrick Henry. I'll deal with the 26 first later.
Yeah, it's a move that's hard to make, but it's a move that people would make for a wide receiver every single day. They would trade that for CeeDee Lamb. They would trade that for, I mean, you couldn't get Justin Jefferson for that, but you would trade that for CeeDee Lamb, right? You would trade that for probably Nico Collins, right? But guess who's scoring more fantasy points, Ray? Derrick Henry. He's going to score more fantasy points than just about all those players. So if you're actually going all in, it does seem like a lot. And I would shop some other running backs, Saquon in particular, who I think has an extremely high ceiling, plays Dallas week 17. A move you might not be able to make, but at least you do get a bit of security with the age, maybe a bit more insulated value instead of Henry. But Henry could be just fine. It's a very tough pill to swallow, but it's not a move that you don't make if you don't think you can win. It's a move you make if you know it solidifies you the win. But it's a tough one.
Let me tell you why I don't think I could do it, and it's not even from the fact that who I'm going to draft in the draft. I think I could, in a start 11, I feel like I can manipulate those first to get some other bodies. That might not be Derrick Henry, but can help me fill some needs to go get it. But these are real trades that people are making to try to go get it. So there's Derrick Henry. Just your thoughts overall, like league winner. We're seeing this first one for me. If I can go out there and
I don't hate it.
I can get Herbert tough. Back. I could get Herbert 100%. Back. I feel like I can. 100%. I feel like I can. 100%. This one is the more realistic one. If you've got a young running back like a Jonathan Brooks and there's enthusiasm out there and you are a contender, like I don't even want to bank on Brooks because Chuba Hubbard's not going to go away. Like this is the one that I would definitely try to do. Let's stick with the running back position, Jay, and move on to another big dog, another league winner. Can we all agree that this guy out of Philadelphia is a league winning running back? Yay. We all agree. Motion approved moving forward. And
Barkley.
Saquon Bell Cow Barkley. He is a league-winning running back. So let's look at some deals regarding Saquon Barkley. His dynasty value, let me just give it to you so we know. Right now, he's valued as the RB4, only behind Breece Hall, Bijan Robinson, and Jahmyr Gibbs. As the RB1, directly behind Saquon is Kyron Williams and Devon Achane. So Saquon Barkley, Jay, you're trying to go get it in a league. And here is the deal that is sent to you. You get Saquon Barkley and Keenan Allen. You are giving up Jonathan Brooks, a 26 first, and a 25 fourth-round pick for Saquon Barkley and Keenan Allen.
Can I keep my fourth-round pick and he can keep Keenan Allen? Because I don't even know if I want Keenan Allen right now, but that's an easy trade for me. It's funny because you bring these up and it makes me think, if you have Jonathan Brooks right now, why aren't you trying to trade him?
There's a reason I picked these out.
Why aren't you trying to trade him? He is RB12 on KTC right now. Why? But I do want to ask the people, like, realistically, and I'm dead serious about this. I would take him over Kyron Williams, Saquon Barkley. I think the Achane argument is interesting because of how good he's been with Tua. And I understand why you like Jahmyr Gibbs a lot and why he's RB1. But in what world are you taking Bijan over Saquon Barkley and Breece Hall over Saquon Barkley?
In the world that people are looking at 22-year-old running back, 23-year-old running back. I want the youth. This is right, wrong, or indifferent. This is still a big part of the dynasty game. Youth in fantasy football is a big driving force in the game. That's just that is what it is. So if you've got Jonathan Brooks, hopefully you've got some ideas if you're on a competing roster. Let's go look at another one. Saquon Barkley, JRich. Are you trading Jonathan Taylor, a 26 second and a 26 third, to get Saquon Barkley? JT currently valued as the RB12 according to Keep Trade Cut. Oh, no, excuse me. That's Jonathan Brooks. Jonathan Taylor. Where's JT at? Yeah, that's Jonathan. Where's JT at? Let's go. Wait, JT. Where's Jonathan Taylor at, Jay?
I don't even see him on the list.
RB8.
Oh, he's
RB8.
Right there. RB8.
He's RB8. Come on, man. RB8. So would you move the RB4 or the RB8, RB4 for the RB8, a second and a third, but the second and a third don't come until 26?
I don't hate this move at all. I do like Taylor a lot, and he's a player that I think is a little bit undervalued with how good he's been this season. You're talking about a guy that heading into the Minnesota game at 88 yards plus and 20 plus carries in 4 straight. So 88 plus yards in 4 straight games and a touchdown in 3 straight heading into the Minnesota game. Now the issue is you don't have JRich to kind of take the pressure off him with a potential read option and all those things. Now it's just if he's getting the ball, there is no real other scenario where they get beat by the quarterback. I think that does help JT a bit, but I do like him a lot. But when you compare JT to Saquon, it's really not that close. We see the touches Saquon gets weekly. We see the workload that he has. We see that he's probably the best part of this Philly offense. And you look at that Philly playoff schedule, looks really, really good.
Yeah.
I'd be taking Saquon. It's tough to trade a JT for Saquon when you have to give up a little bit extra. But I think if you're trying to win, it's an absolute have-to-do move because you are definitely getting better overall.
All right, Jay, we got one more Saquon Barkley trade that I want to pull up, see how you and the people feel about this one. So this one is essentially Saquon Barkley for 2 first-round picks. It's Saquon Barkley, Trey Lance, and Desmond Ridder. Nobody cares about those assets. You're giving up a 25 first and a 26 first. This was 1 day ago. You're trading 2 first-round picks for Saquon Barkley to help you win a championship.
I would 100%. I think that Saquon Barkley could be the highest scoring running back in the fantasy playoffs. He's a player that just, it seems like he gets more and more touches every single week. I understand it's the 2 first, but and the way that people value first right now, it's honestly kind of ridiculous. Like they are choosing, Ray, actively to not go out and win their leagues because they are too afraid to trade that first round pick. I would easily make this move.
Ooh.
I understand that it's scary.
James
I understand that you don't want to do it.
James says hard pass.
But if you don't have good running backs, why? Like, what is the point? Why be in third place, have mediocre running backs, and you know that you're not beating the first or second team without a move like this? And Saquon can actually help you make that move. And I think the sad part is, Ray, is people want they want their Ashton Genty. Ashton Genty's not going to be better than Saquon Barkley in Philly. He's just not. Like, there's no way in the world that would ever happen, in my opinion. So you're still probably having the best running back next season as well. Even if you could have drafted someone at the 110, 109, one of your favorite running backs, whether you want to talk about Amari and Hampton or any of these guys, like they're not making the impact Barkley's going to make. It's just not going to happen. So why are you so afraid to trade that 25 first? Doesn't make any sense.
Because people still want to be able to have some sort of security for the future. And they want the flexibility to be able to draft young and take a shot on Luther Burden or Marion Hampton or Ted McMillan. They want their cake and eat it too. You know, people want to be able to get Saquon Barkley, but also have their picks. And, that's why I put it up there. That's why I put it up there.
I think what's crazy about it too is that why can't you trade those 2 first? Saquon Barkley has a 20-point per game playoff run, and then you trade him for a first-round pick at the end of the season. And you get your first round pick back. All you lose is 26 first.
Because this is how Dynasty works, Jay. People are going to be once Saquon's season completes and he's going into his age 28 season. He did that last year. I don't want to pay for pass production. I don't know if I can get a first for Saquon, which is going to create a value for us buying these veteran running backs next season. We're not done yet. JRich, Captain America, Christian McCaffrey. I don't know where the reports are, but I saw a practice video with him on the field.
He's designated to return?
Designated to return. So, this is the ultimate bet. This is the ultimate bet right here. Christian McCaffrey, Achilles stuff and all. Are you making these moves to go win it with CMC? Here we go. The first one, JRich. We've got Christian McCaffrey being traded for a 25 first-round pick, Trey Benson, and Marshawn Lloyd. You're giving up Marshawn Lloyd, Trey Benson, and a 25 first for Christian McCaffrey.
I think you could stomach that, yeah. The 1 first, okay. I think it's more than acceptable. It's scary because you don't know what you're getting from Christian, and that's fully valid. You don't want to trade your first, but he is arguably the most impactful fantasy running back in football.
Wow. Rico said
it's tough,
no.
Though. I think
Rico,
I can.
Are you saying?
Yeah.
Wow. I did not expect this.
Yeah.
What? Y'all are kidding. Daniel.
Ray, it's
Mark,
tough, man.
Rico,
There's workload concerns. Like there is. There's real workload concerns for him.
Daniel says nope. Rico says hell nah. Mark says wow. Man.
I think it's I don't think it's a move that kills you, but it's very tough. It's very tough. We haven't seen him play at all. We don't even know if he's gonna get 20 carries. It's tough.
Okay.
Spartan's saying I did that one.
All right, let's go to another CMC trade. Okay. CMC or Isaiah Pacheco, Jordan Addison in a 25-second?
This one I don't think I would make. I don't think I could stomach losing Pacheco for CMC, not knowing his workload coming back, and then you also give up Addison as well. That's tough. That's really tough. That's two pretty damn good assets, and we both love Pacheco, Ray. So I think it'd be hard to give up Pacheco because we know he's going to be back shortly. I think he's going to be back around week 12, week 13, and I expect him to get work even with Kareem Hunt being there. So it's tough. It's tough. I don't think that's the move I'd make if I was trading my Pacheco.
All right,
because
Dynasty
you've had Pacheco this whole time.
Finally,
should have traded them a long time ago.
We got one. Dynasty Empire said this is the easiest yes of the day.
Yeah. Single first isn't that bad for CMC.
Okay, we got a couple of more. This should give people ideas of things that you could do or try to do in your leagues. We've got a 2QB 12-team start 11, Christian McCaffrey or Keon Coleman in a 25 first.
That's really hard. Keon's been looking really good lately.
Like, are we?
It's a winning move. It's a winning move, but it's tough because you know that Keon's probably going to be pretty good. Like, if Keon Coleman outscored Christian McCaffrey in the rest of the season, would you be surprised?
McCaffrey. This is Christian. Yeah, there's no Brandon Ayuk. It's a banged up Deebo Samuel. Jordan Mason, nobody knows what's going on with him. But this is Christian McCaffrey we're talking. Even if he's 75% of what he was, he's better than Keon Coleman.
He should be. But if Keon had a good playoff run, we wouldn't be shocked either because he's playing well and better every single week. So I think trading away Trey Benson,
playoff run and doing Christian McCaffrey things, they're not in the same. They're not in the same boat.
They're not
two peas in a pod.
We haven't seen what that baseline looks like for CMC yet. So I agree with you. It's a win now move, but trading away a Keon Coleman is a lot different than trading away a Trey Benson and these ancillary running backs that don't play and are giving you nothing. Right? Keon Coleman could be a starter for your team. He could be if you have the wrong roster construction.
Here's the final one. Superflex 12-team start 10 PPR half-point tight end premium. Christian McCaffrey or DeAndre Swift and Tua Tagovailoa.
If I could stomach trading Tua, because I don't think trading Swift is a big deal. If I could stomach trading Tua, I would make this trade 1,000%. Not even close. Because Tua, if he doesn't have home games in December, guess what he's not doing? He's not putting up 20 points a game. Because every time it's cold and he has to go outside and he has to play all these tough opponents, he doesn't play well. And so why would we buy into Tua, who, again, first game back, he looked pretty good, but it was against Buffalo. But I'm not buying into Tua's going to be this league winner at quarterback personally. I understand people may like Tua, but I don't like him short term. I don't like him long term. And DeAndre Swift's been pretty good, but I would bet that Christian McCaffrey could do more for me.
This is an interesting case study. I'm very much enjoying your commentary, and I say that all seriousness. I'm enjoying your analysis, and I'm enjoying reading the chat. And there's a lot of synergy between what you're saying and the people in the chat, Jay. We got another running back that we got to talk about. I want to go into CJ Stroud, Dak Prescott, Alvin Kamara, Marvin Harrison Jr., Anthony Richardson. We're going to talk about all of those players. We're going to do it after the break. We're going to take a little break. I got to regroup, Jay. I may have to find some more difficult trades. I thought these were just going to be smashes for Christian McCaffrey and this player, and y'all are throwing me for a loop this morning. So we'll take a break, hit that thumbs up button, like the content, and we'll run it back as soon as we come back. Appreciate y'all pulling up. This is the Wake Up with Ray and Jay show. If you're new to the channel, we appreciate you giving us a little bit of your time. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, like the stream, comment, content, all that other comment on the content, and subscribe to the damn channel. And if you did miss it, I did drop a 2025 Dynasty Rookie Mock Draft, 2-round Dynasty Rookie Mock Draft. And I'm letting you know right now, the people, JRich, were so upset that Colston Loveland was not in round one. Just tore me up for not having Colston Loveland in there, man.
I don't get it.
They want the
but
tight ends.
But it makes sense because they don't watch the channel enough and they're just tuning in for the mock draft, so they don't understand how we value tight ends and the way that we value them, especially in rookie draft.
Colston Loveland. I love him.
Yeah.
Check out the Dynasty Rookie Mock. Dynasty Theory. Mitch, Dan, and John went through second half sales, so sort of coincides with the show that we're having today. Make sure you support Dynasty Theory. Check those guys out. And I went ahead and dropped it early, man. I just said, you know what, we're going to do Trinity Tuesday. The usage video is up. Jackson Smith and Jigba. We talked through a bunch of players, bets to make, usages that you got to trust. Trust the Trinity, baby. ddfantasyfootball.com. 50% off of the website using JRich's code. There's a link in the description. Check it out. All the dope content that we have. Jay, let's move on to another running back and wrap up this group. Talking about AK-41, Alvin Kamara. And let's go a little quicker through these ones. Alvin Kamara, league-winning running back. Alvin Kamara, 25 first-round pick. You're doing it for a single first. AK-41, single first-round pick. Assume you're a playoff team. It's a back-end first. Would you trade a back-end first for Alvin Kamara to help you win your league's championship?
I think I would. Yeah, I'm fine with it. It's not a move that I necessarily thought of making a first for Alvin Kamara. I think it's for a lot of people it's tough, especially with the state of the Saints right now. But if that's the best running back you can get, I don't hate it overall. The New Orleans Saints schedule for running backs it's a little bit tougher, but you look at what happened this week. He's probably going to get a lot of work in this offense.
Okay, everybody says smash accept. Nice one. We got another one for Kamara. I like these. The Mario Douglas in a second for Kamara.
Very
Smash,
easily.
right?
I love Bob Douglas, but he hasn't done very well with Drake May.
And this was 2 days ago, so you can go get you some Kamara. Like, go get Kamara for popping a second. And the final one, you get Alvin Kamara and Hunter Henry for a 26 first-round pick. I mean, this is I left Kamara to the end because we went through Saquon, we went through Derrick Henry, we went through CMC. I'm comfortable giving up a first, doing that. I think you can go try to trade for Alvin Kamara. Like, go get Alvin Kamara. If all he's costing is Pop Douglas in a second, Troy Franklin and Bucky Irving, like give me Kamara to go win the fantasy championships.
Because the Saints are so bad, right?
Exactly. All right, Jay, let's move on to another position and talk about one of the highest valued players in Dynasty fantasy football. And us showing this player has nothing to do with what we think his long-term value would be. But we're talking about CeeDee Lamb of the Dallas Cowboys. And we know Dak Prescott's on IR. He's going to get some Cooper Rush, maybe some Trey Lance. CeeDee's dealing with an AC joint sprain. Dallas is very liable to shut the whole shit down here pretty soon. So CeeDee Lamb, one of the best wide receivers, one of the best assets. If you have him on a competing team and, God forbid you had Dak Prescott paired up with him, which I did in multiple spots, you're probably sitting back right now thinking, is there any move to make with CD to get better to help me win this thing without losing value? So let's look at some deals involving CeeDee Lamb and tell me how you feel about these. And a lot of them are compound deals. So in this deal, the manager who had CeeDee Lamb, they wanted a quarterback upgrade. So they went cross-positional. So this trade, let me just read out what it really is. It's a 12-team Superflex start 12. This was CeeDee Lamb for Josh Allen. So here's the deal. CeeDee Lamb, a 26 first, Josh Downs and Isaac Guerendo for Josh Allen, Zach Moss, and Marvin Mims. So it's essentially Lamb, Downs, a first, and Guerendo for Josh Allen. Is that a move you would make with your CD? You're not really getting a receiver. You're getting Josh Downs back, but you're not getting a CeeDee Lamb receiver back.
No, you're getting nothing back. That's the problem. You're trading away Josh Downs, Isaac Guerendo, CeeDee Lamb, and a first.
You get Josh Allen back. And a start 12. You get Josh Allen back. That's what you're getting back.
Think about how good your receiving core would have to be to make that move. It's a win now move. It's not a move I'd want to make. If I had Josh Allen, I would happily make that trade on a rebuilder because, again, it's hard to find a Josh Allen, but you can make quarterback work when you have a player like Josh Downs and CeeDee Lamb and 26 first to work with. Isaac Guerendo, probably not going to be anything. But how do you replace what you had in CeeDee Lamb with Josh Allen? Because while, yes, Josh Allen is great, that delta between what you're probably starting and missing from CeeDee Lamb is going to be greater than what you're probably going to have in your quarterback upgrade,
But that's the cross-positional move. You're not going to, when you make a cross-positional trade, you're not going to get back the thing that you moved, right? Because the other side of that, they traded away Josh Allen. Like, think about it from the other. Yeah. They traded Josh Allen away.
But if you're doing that, you're probably out of it, right? You're probably out of it.
I mean,
so it's not a bad move for them. But you think about CeeDee Lamb went out, you're plugging Josh Downs in. and you just traded him away because you would start Josh Downs in place of CeeDee Lamb right now. Probably, because he's been good enough. He's been consistent.
I don't know if you would start him over him, but yeah, you're going to start Josh Downs now that you lost CeeDee. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like if CeeDee's out, you'd start Josh Downs in his place, and now you have neither player. You do have Josh Allen, but now you're going further down your depth chart to try and find the start. That's tough.
A lot of people are saying this one was hard. Good. I'm glad that one was more difficult. Let's do another one. Here's one where you're getting CeeDee Lamb and Wan'Dale Robinson, but you give up Jaden Reed, Zay Flowers, and Cade Otton. Superflex, 12-team, start 10, PPR, half-point, tight end premium. Jay?
Okay, Ray?
Jay?
I like this one a lot. Here's the problem. Here's the problem, right? Cade Otton is not an asset I would buy for multiple seasons, but holy hell is he doing good right now. Another, I believe, 100 yards, 9 receptions, and was it 1 or 2 touchdowns this week? I think. Yeah, my God. Cade Otton is balling right now. And yes, Mike Evans will be back, and I understand all that. But Cade Otton is a player who can actually win you your league. Jaden Reed's been kind of ass, and we openly acknowledge that. But Zay Flowers is doing very good as well. So while I think it's a bit of a piecing it together, you're probably going to try and start Zay Flowers and Cade Otton every week. And so you're getting 2 starters for 1, and you still have Jaden Reed to fill in some bye weeks and a player that you feel pretty damn good about. So I like this move a lot. I like CeeDee Lamb, but I like this move a lot. I think even in the long term, you may be just fine with Jaden Reed and Zay Flowers, even though we love CeeDee Lamb.
Here goes another one. CeeDee Lamb in a 2QB, 12-team, start 10. CeeDee Lamb or Breece Hall and T. Higgins.
Okay, so this one, I think you have to take the Breece Hall, T. Higgins side. If you can get Breece Hall for CeeDee Lamb for a player who has been struggling lately but is pretty damn valuable overall, and then you get T. Higgins, who, in my opinion, next year can have a much better fantasy season than he has this season. The only issue is that if you need a receiver, when is he going to play, right? And that's the bet you're trying to make, is if you can stomach trading CeeDee Lamb away, who may miss some time for a player like T. Higgins, who may be out for the same amount of time, I'm fine with it. I think it's a tough move for some people to make, but it's a very smart one, because I believe per Mike Clay, the Jets have the easiest running back schedule for the rest of the season. So think about that from that perspective. While Breece has struggled, they do have a pretty easy schedule coming up. And when you look at some of the games they play, they do have a lot of available opportunities for running backs. It's just whether or not Breece Hall ultimately gets it.
2QB, 12-team, start 10. CeeDee Lamb or Patrick Mahomes in a 26-second.
Patrick Mahomes got it cooking on Monday.
He did cook. 3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns, almost 300 yards. 14 receptions for Kelsey. 2 touchdowns for DeAndre Hopkins.
I'm asking you, are you moving CeeDee Lamb for Patrick Mahomes in a 12-team, 2QB, start 10 PPR league? I already see Daniel Perry's already chimed in and said Mahomes easy.
I kind of like it. I do.
Garrison says CD.
Because we were asked about it in the chat, like, how do you feel about Dak and CD for the rest of the season? Because, like, are they held out? Does Dak come back? Like, Cooper Rush and CD may be fine, but I got to be honest, I have some concerns, right? I do have some concerns as to what that viability is, because CD's already not been that great, especially what we considered. But if you could move him for Patrick Mahomes, dude, Ray, let me tell you of a crazy scenario.
Okay, tell me.
Not only do the Chiefs win the Super Bowl this season, but they bring DeAndre Hopkins back next season because he just wants to win. He's done with the money in the contract. He wants to win. Next year, he's got Travis Kelce, Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, and year 2 in Kansas City, DeAndre Hopkins. How is that not a top 5 dynasty quarterback? I don't care how he played this season. He's walking the next season with a healthy Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce, DeAndre Hopkins, Xavier Worthy.
Yeah. Okay.
This is the guy.
Let me give you one more.
I think that's a crazy smart move.
Let me give you one more CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb in a 26-second or Saquon Barkley. I left this one here on purpose.
Oh, baby. Fire me up.
Saquon or CD in a second.
I'm taking Saquon. I don't care. I want to win. Saquon can help me win.
He's a 27-year-old running back. Dynasty.
Don't care.
27-year-old running back.
27-year-old running back who just jumped over a grown man backwards. Give me that guy over CeeDee Lamb and his AC joint.
Remember all the people who said Saquon wasn't going to be good in Philly? Like this was a bad fit.
So dumb.
Awful analysis. Awful.
I don't even know how we felt about it and what I said about it, but man, he's good.
I felt great about it. I don't know how you felt about it. I felt fucking great about it.
I would imagine I would have liked it.
Quickly, we got to go through this one, all right? We got to go through this one. Cade Otton, you brought him up. Would you make these moves right now for the best tight end in fantasy football, Cade Otton?
Literally.
Cade Otton, you get Cade Otton in a 26 second, you give up your 26 first. So you're getting Otton in a second for your first. Would you do it?
All day.
Okay.
All day.
Now, another one.
I would absolutely do that.
Cade Otton. You get Cade Otton in a 25 third for 2 seconds. You're paying 2 second-round picks in 25 for Cade Otton, and you get back a third. Get Otton in a third for 2 seconds. Okay?
Easy. All day.
Last deal, Cade Otton or Jermaine Burton in a 25 second.
Yes, Jermaine Burton can't even make it to walkthroughs on Saturdays. So I will happily take Jermaine Burton, who probably would never see the field in Cincy the way he's acting right now. So give me Cade Otton.
And I do bring him up, and it's not the dynasty value. He's 25 years old, which is young, but tight end 9. He's going to be peppered with targets from now until the beginning of the season. I mean, it is laser Homelander eyes, Baker Mayfield to Cade Otton. And I do think this is a tight end in a league, in a world of tight end just wasteland, and you're praying that Dalton Kincaid and Sam Laporta and Trey McBride do anything for you. I mean, Cade Otton is just quietly just a walking 15 target piece, it feels like every single week. Yeah.
So good.
If all I have to do is pay a second or a couple of seconds for Otton, like I'm going to do that right freaking now. All right, JRich. Marvin Harrison Jr.
Now this is going to be tough.
Let's put you to the test, you contenders who somehow fell into Marv, hoping that he'd be this stud for you, and it's not working out. But you want to win. So you really got to weigh this long-term dynasty value over what can help you win today. Let's look at some trades. Marvin Harrison Jr. JRich, are you giving up Bijan Robinson in a 4th or Marvin Harrison Jr. and Jaleel McLaughlin? Start 10, super flex, full PPR, 12-team league. You want Marv or you want Bijan? That's essentially what this is. If you could trade your Marv right now for Bijan, would you do it?
Yeah, I would. The way he's being utilized right now, I think that's a move that you have to make because Atlanta is playing so well right now, and Marv is just too inconsistent to start. Well, you're going to be starting him weekly, but Bijan is a much more reliable player right now, 100%.
MV Prof says Marv wants Marv over Bijan.
Really? Okay.
I want some more people to chime in because this is Marv or Bijan straight up. Let's get another Marvin Harrison deal. Garrison says Bijan in that trade. Thank you, Garrison. All right, we got another one. 2 QB, 12 teams, start 11. Woo-wee. Woo! 2 QB, 12 team, start 11, full PPR. This was made 1 day ago. Marvin Harrison Jr., Rashee Rice, and Derek Carr on one side of the trade ledger, or Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, and Jerome Ford. So somebody traded their Marv, and they packaged up. They sent Rashee Rice and Derek Carr, and what they got in return was Hurts, Smitty, and Jerome Ford.
Let me tell you something, Ray.
Tell me.
I like me some Marvin Harrison Jr.
Me too.
I think Rashee Rice might be a top 12 receiver in the NFL.
I shared fries with Rashee Rice in an elevator at the Senior Bowl. We're eating fries together, man. We broke bread.
Only you would have a story like that. And I remember you telling me that, actually. That's kind of funny. Yeah. But the answer is 100% Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith. 100%. Devontae Smith could easily be a league winner this year, and no one talks about it because it's all about A.J. Brown and how good he is. And I completely understand how good A.J. Brown is. But Jalen Hurts is quietly having an amazing fantasy season. It was a slow start, and I talked about this. Hey, don't twist the narrative, because from the beginning I said that I loved Kellen Moore in this offense. It was a very slow start, and I didn't think Jalen Hurts was playing overly well. But I said that I wasn't going away from Hurts, and I think that he would end the season very strong. They're 6-2 right now, and he's playing better and better every week, and could be the MVP of the fantasy playoffs at quarterback. He really could. Like, this team, if you look at their schedule, Ray, their schedule is ridiculously good. Like, ridiculously good. They play virtually nobody for the rest of the season. They have 2 difficult games, and I will read it out for the chat and the people that are listening. They play the Cowboys this week. Why aren't they putting up 30 points? They play the Commanders the following Thursday. That's another 30 piece. They play the Rams after that. That's another 30 piece. Then they play the Ravens. That'll be tougher. Probably not too many points in that game. Week 1 or that's not even week 1 of the fantasy playoffs. Then they play the Panthers. That's probably 40 points. They play the Steelers week 1 of the playoffs. I actually think that will be a high-scoring game. Then they close the fantasy playoffs, Ray, with the Washington Commanders and the Dallas Cowboys. That is at least 6 of 8 games where they can easily put up 30-plus points every single game, playing some of the worst defenses in the NFL. The Cowboys twice, the Rams once, the Panthers once, and you still have the Commanders twice as well, and we know their defense really isn't very good. So when you have a team who in the past few weeks, 28 points, 37 points, 28 points, 20 points, like they're playing better and better every week, and it's because Hurts is so good. And that's why you want Saquon, you want A.J. Brown, obviously, you want Devontae Smith, and you want all these assets because their schedule is really, really good and top 12 across every position in fantasy.
All right, the last one for Marv, 12-team, 2 QB start 10. You are trading your Marvin Harrison for Jacoby Myers and Puka Nacua. You get back a 26 second and a 25 third on top of your Marv. You moving Marv for Marv and a second and a third to get Puka and Jacoby Myers?
I think I would, yeah. I think I like Puka enough that it's worth it. I do. Marv's got a lot of value, but Puka is pretty damn good when he's on the field, and we've seen that. So I would take Puka and Jacoby Myers.
Interesting segue here by Jacob. Said, what would you add to CJ Stroud to get Jalen Hurts? Because CJ Stroud is next up on the list. We are going to pivot to the quarterback position, and he's absolutely wrecked me in 2 FFPC main event teams. I've got him as quarterback 1, and we keep starting him every single week, and it's just not coming to fruition. So CJ Stroud, who is currently valued as the Dynasty QB4, ahead of the aforementioned Jalen Hurts, and I don't believe that you could trade CJ Stroud for Hurts straight up right now. So let's find some deals that have happened, and would you make these deals involving CJ Stroud? Here you go. You trade CJ Stroud. You get not 1, not 2, but 3 first-round picks and Daniel Jones in a 2 QB 12-team start 10 PPR league. You're moving Stroud for 225 first, a 26 first, and Daniel Jones. You doing it?
Man, I would really think about it. I really would. You're giving me 3 firsts, and yeah, I got to deal with Daniel Jones. But Ray, like, this team has one of the best schedules for quarterbacks in the league. Panthers, Bucks, Cowboys, Saints, Ravens is a tough game. Falcons should be fine. Colts. That's it. I named 1 tough matchup. The Ravens.
You pressing accept?
I think I would, yeah. If I felt like my team was good enough, I think I would.
Thank you. I
think I would. 3 firsts is too much for CJ with the way he's playing right now. Way too much. If you offered me 2 firsts and Daniel Jones, I think you even have to consider that. Because Jones, the way he's playing right now, could actually outplay CJ because he's playing so poorly.
All right. CJ Stroud in a 27 first or Jaden Daniels. This was 2 days ago.
This is Jaden Daniels by a mile.
Yes, by a mile.
By a mile.
I don't even know how this happened, but this is Jaden Daniels by a country mile. No doubt about it, Jay. Okay.
Easily.
So the last CJ Stroud deal we're going to touch on, you have to pay CJ Stroud a 26 first, a 27 first, and a 27 second, and you get Lamar Jackson. I know what side I'm taking. Quite easy. I know what side I'm taking, and I know how this looks, but I know what side I'm taking.
You don't think you have to look at other options? Like again, if this is the only move you can make, right?
But at this point,
but it is a 26 and 27 first.
The person making this deal, they went through their options. This is the option that they want. They fucking want Lamar Jackson. So if you want Lamar Jackson, you got the conviction you want Lamar Jackson, would you give up a 26, 27 first, CJ Stroud, and a 27 second?
I would, yeah.
I know where I'm at.
I don't see the point
I'm Lamar.
of trying to win
Lamar.
and holding on to CJ Stroud. I don't see the process there. He's been a top 12 quarterback like maybe twice all season. Lamar is every week.
I don't give a shit about a 2027 first round pick, dude. I'm gonna just put this in the by the time that pick bears fruit, by the time that pick bears fruit, we're gonna be in another election cycle going through this shit all over again. You think I care about the 27 first, man? Like, really think about that. By the time that pick bears fruit, we're gonna hear from Joe Schmo from this side, and Joe Schmo will be back in the cycle again. Give me Lamar Jackson. I will take whatever Lamar is going to give me before the political parties figure out who they're going to nominate next, because that's how damn far away 2027 is, Jay. I couldn't even name 5 draft-eligible players in the 27 class. I guess that's Jeremiah Smith. I couldn't name one. Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah.
I'm trading that Jeremiah. Give me Lamar Jackson. I'm Lamar Jackson, dude.
And Lamar's the QB1 probably all offseason, going into next season. Like, it's clear what this team is doing, and Lamar is, by the time that 2027 first bears fruit, Lamar Jackson will probably have 8 to 10 perfect games under his belt, because that's how far away it is. It's just, I understand why people want the picks, but it doesn't make any sense.
And Justin says, I'll trade for Baker Mayfield. That's not the exercise, though. Yes, if you've got these picks, the exercise is you've exhausted those options. Here's the shit that's in front of you. Would you make this deal? You know, what you can and can't do, this is what's happened. So we deal in those. So I would take Lamar Jackson if we were faced with that. Let's go to Dak Prescott, because we have lost Dak Prescott. So what are you doing? You holding on to the 31, 32-year-old quarterback who's probably going to have a new head coach, new offensive coordinator. Things look awful in Dallas right now. JRich, quickly, Dak Prescott and a second-round pick or Jared Goff. Start 11, super flex 12 teams. You want Dak in a second, or you want Jared Goff?
Jared Goff, and I'd honestly consider paying a first.
Okay, let's continue to roll down the Dak Prescott trades and things that you might be able to do to help you win. Would you move your Dak Prescott right now to help you win with Geno Smith? Dak for Geno, straight up.
100%. Not even a question.
I would not do that. I would not do that.
I would 100%. Why not?
Okay. Because he's only going to be out a couple of weeks, and it's just that.
But no, he's on IR. That's 4 weeks. He's at least out for 4 weeks.
Highest paid play, I wouldn't do it for Geno. I don't think I would do it for Geno. Dak Prescott or Jalen Warren in the 25 first?
I would take the first.
Damn.
I'd take the first. Ray, remember what was it, 2 years ago in Royal Rumble, I traded Dak Prescott straight up for Justin Fields. And then I ended up trading back for Dak. Dak is not a player that you need to hold through injury.
Of Dynasty.
I like Dak a lot, but I'm not holding him through injury. It doesn't make any sense. If you can liquidate him, and he's he's probably down now. He's QB 19 right now, and now that's because he's hurt, but.
All right, well, let's wrap up with this one. And I really wanted to end with this quarterback, because I know he's down 61 spots on KTC, QB 23. A lot of people are like, oh, man, I can't do anything. What can I do? What can I do? It's over. It's all over. I've lost all the value. We're talking about Anthony Richardson, okay? And we talked about it on Monday. You've got to erased all thoughts of what his value was in August, and you just got to readjust for what is happening right now, okay? So Anthony Richardson, are there ways to rid yourself of what the Colts have deemed to be a non-starting quarterback? Is there an opportunity? Would you move your Anthony Richardson? JRich, 4, you got to pay Anthony Richardson and J.J. McCarthy to get Justin Herbert. You got these young quarterbacks. You thought you had a stud young QB team with Herbert, with McCarthy and Richardson. Would you trade those 2 quarterbacks for Justin Herbert?
I would have a hard time doing that. I like Herbert a lot, and I would be willing to trade for Herbert right now. I think trading JJ and A-Rich is tough, because I think you look at what Sam Darnold's doing in Minnesota, and if you're this is you're going to win kind of move, in my opinion. Otherwise, I'm probably holding on to the young quarterbacks.
Wait, hell not to what? Hell not to what?
I think he's saying you wouldn't move both of them. I like Herbs a lot. I think it's a tough pill to swallow. I do. I think it's tough pill to swallow.
Really? JJ McCarthy over Justin Herbert?
Because Herbert's not going to be a difference maker,
Colin,
right?
Thank
He's
you.
not going to be a big difference maker.
I want Herbert. I do
like Herbert a lot, though.
I do
like Herbert a lot.
If I've got to give you JJ McCarthy and the idea or the hope of what he can become versus what I know Justin Herbert is and what we see him doing now that he's throwing the ball, for me, this would be a no-brainer. I would.
People should be tearing down to Herbert right now.
I would break my phone screen pressing accept if I saw this hit my inbox. I would break my phone screen. All right, here's another one for Anthony Richardson. You are going to receive Russell Wilson in a 25 first. You have to give up Anthony Richardson in a 26 second. You making this deal?
Yeah, this is an easy one for me. I'd be trading Russ. He can be my starter, and I get the first back. Easy. And in a couple months, JRich could only be worth the first, right? And you're not getting the plus of the Russell Wilson.
I don't think he's worth the first now.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with you on that, but the fact that you're only swapping picks, and if your second is lower and their first is higher, that makes it even more palatable that trade can be made. So I'd be taking Russ pretty easily. Here's
the final one. You get Justin Herbert again, but you've got to pay a first on top of your Anthony Richardson to get him. You think about hold on. You want out. You think that you got an absolute clogger. He's not going to start. This was a failed pick. The Colts bailed on him. I want out of Anthony Richardson. Sometimes to get out of some shit, you got to pay. Prepayment penalty. You pay it off early, you got a penalty. Sometimes you got to pay to get out of some things. If you truly, truly, truly want to get out and you think the 25 class is ass and would you pay a first on top of your JRich to get Justin Herbert?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And I think the difference with this trade is that when you look at the JJ trade, you have multiple outs at QB. And in this one, your only out is JRich being good because you're not getting a difference-making quarterback in this draft class from that first-round pick, right? It's just not happening, or it's very unlikely to happen unless for some reason you get Shador Sanders or Cam Ward at like the 108, let's say.
Yeah.
I'm taking Herbert. He's probably better than any quarterback you would draft to replace JRich if he's still no good. So I would pay that first to get a quarterback that I believe in short and long term in Justin Herbert.
And the point of that exercise is there's still ways to get out. Like you might not be able to 1-for-1 JRich for an isolated first, Anthony Richardson for this player. But if you really do want out, like go to Dynasty Daddy and go to the trade database. There are multiple, people are paying. If I got to pay you a couple of seconds to move off of him to get back Jared Goff or whatever it is, Baker, whatever it is, right? You can get out. Do not let the stock go to zero before you're like, damn it, I lost out and I was left holding the bag. Nah, man, just even if it's 60 cents on the dollar, 70 cents on the dollar, there are ways to move out of that asset. And here's the beautiful thing about it is if he does get another opportunity and performs well, at that point, I've got no problem paying the appropriate cost. If he's a 5th-round startup pick and I like the way that it's trending, there's ways to get back into that player. I think there are ways to move off of Anthony Richardson. Don't feel like you are stuck, but you also have to adjust what you paid. You're probably not getting that in return. We had a couple of super chats that we got to hit. JRich, real quick, right here. Would y'all trade Smith and Zay for Nico or CD? I'm going to assume this is Devontae Smith and Zay Flowers. Would you rather Smitty and Zay or Nico or CD?
I think I'd have to consider it for Nico, but I wouldn't do it for CD. But I don't really want to make that move personally. I still really like Smith and Zay, even as
Smith
not
and Zay. I think I'm fine with Smith and Zay. I don't have to go pay up to get Nico or CD. I think I'm more than comfortable with Zay Flowers and Devontae Smith. So I would chill. All right, we got one more here from Dominic. Trade to win now. Marv, 26 first, a 4th-round pick, and Marshawn Lloyd. JRich for Justin Jefferson. Okay, let's Marv a first. Marshawn Lloyd and JRich for Jefferson, Hub. I'm going to assume that's Chubb, Russ, and Myers.
Or Chuba Hubbard?
Or Chuba Hubbard. Let's make it Chuba really Hubbard. Let's go Hubbard.
Chuba Hubbard's
so would you trade Marv a first, JRich for Justin Jefferson, Chuba Hubbard, and Russ? And what? Yes.
Yeah, I
Yes.
probably would. You have Allen May, CMC, Puka, Garrett Wilson, Hill. Your team is loaded. You're just starting
Marvin
Jefferson.
a first for Jefferson, Chuba Hubbard, Russ, and Jacoby Myers. Yeah, give me.
You still have
Jefferson.
Russ as a backup. You get another running back. Get Jacoby.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. No problem.
Yes.
No problem.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, Dominic said Hubbard. So.
Yeah, Chuba Hubbard. Yes, I am totally fine. Totally fine. Daniel said, "What's the point of sweetener just to get rid of JRich? Let him rot on your bench with that value. Look at Trey Lance; he might get a couple of starts." Yeah, I don't want to. That's not.
What do you mean? Look at Trey
works.
Lance. Look at how Trey Lance went down.
Yeah, I don't.
You had all these opportunities to sell Trey Lance, and you never did it. You held, and now he's on the Cowboys and worthless. And then someone else, I think, was MVP.
I agree
brought
with you
up
there.
Geno Smith.
I'm not letting him rot on my bench. Fuck that.
There's no point.
No,
there's no point.
He said that's like watching a stock fall through your stop loss and just watching it. Like, you know, I can't get what I.
It'll
what
bounce
I
back.
for,
It'll bounce back. It'll bounce back.
At some point.
And then it bounces back. It bounces back, Ray, but
and
only to 50%. So
yeah,
you don't
it's
sell
only
it.
50% or you don't sell it. Yeah, I don't operate that way. I'm moving them.
Yeah.
What else did you say? You said there was another one that you saw.
Well, MV Prof was talking about JRich is still 22, so he has a chance to bounce back even several years in the future, like Geno did. And here's the problem with that. You think about Geno Smith, right? Like, second round pick, I believe, if I'm remembering that correctly. Okay, he sucked. Value tanks for years, not just a little bit, like years and years and years and years. Like, you think about Sam Darnold, was crap on the Jets, value tanks for years and years and years and years. And now, like 7 years later, when people were trading third round picks when he's on San Francisco, or fourth round picks when he's on San Francisco, like, to finally have a chance to get Sam Darnold, right? I picked up Sam Darnold off of waivers last season because he was Brock Purdy's backup and Brock Purdy's my starting quarterback. Like, there is no, he's going to get value in 5 years. That doesn't exist. That's completely worthless.
We are in alignment here. We do not dynasty that way. You're not parking him on your bench so you could coach him up. Why the hell would you want an asset to rot on your roster for 2 years when you could get something for it that can help you, right? And even if he rots, he doesn't help. And you're hoping he gets 2 starts when the coach said you're not playing anymore this year. I was on a show yesterday with Bleacher Report with Matt Schaub, former quarterback of the Texans, and I'm talking to Matt about his thoughts about this situation, being in the NFL, being in a locker room. All signs are not good. Anybody, if you're doing, all you're doing is hopium game. And so while you hold the asset and rot and get no value for it, right? You do that. I'll trade the asset, get me something to help me now. The cycles of player movement, like this is not, y'all got to get out of this old dynasty thinking, man. Like every single solitary fucking player in the NFL, JRich, from the start of September, everyone that you thought was untouchable, Neighbors and there's been a window for every single asset in Dynasty. Marv, Neighbors, Bowers, Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, name them. You could have bought, sold, traded, acquired, moved away every single untouchable player in Dynasty in a 2-month period. And you mean to tell me I'm going to hold an asset for 2-3 years with the hope that they get a chance? That ain't how I roll. I'm good. I'll move on,
Can't do it, man.
Buy back in if and when it happens, but I'm not going to sit there and park it when I can get 70 cents on the dollar, 80 cents on the dollar. Hell no. Would never do that and would not advocate anybody else doing that.
Yeah. QB6 on September 17th, and he is now QB 23.
September 17th,
2 months
he was
later.
QB6. Like, the value fluctuations and changes, you don't got to hold. Stop holding these players in Dynasty. This is not Dynasty of 5 years ago. Move around and move the hell on. Hit the music, Jay. Appreciate y'all pulling up, tapping in. 1,500 people in here, man. Dope. I hope y'all subscribe. Hope y'all were entertained here on this fine Wednesday, November 6, 2024. Waking y'all asses up with Jay and myself. Appreciate everybody, every eye, every ear. Hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribe to the channel, and make sure y'all wake up bright and early, 9 a.m. Eastern on Friday. We doing the same damn thing. Anything you want to say to people before we get out of here, Jay?
No, I hope everyone has a good day, has a good rest of your week. See us on Friday. We have lots of great content coming, previewing week 10, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of discussions, much like the ones we had today, over who to start, who to bench, and who we're riding with for week 10. But thank you everybody for tapping in, like, and subscribe to all the content, and we'll see you guys on Friday. We're out. Peace.
Peace.